Good morning. How we doing? Is fear steering your ship? So I woke up this morning and I had this dream. It's very vivid. Sometimes I don't remember my dreams, but this morning I remembered it. This dream was me as a kid, and my dad was around, but he wasn't with me. And I was in this house. I got this Airbnb. It's probably in my 20s or something. So not a kid. But I get this Airbnb, and on the Airbnb, it had like 2 bedrooms, and some guy comes knocking on my door. He's my age. He seems cool. And he's like, can I he essentially tells me that he's like supposed to be in the Airbnb too. Because it was 2 bedrooms, I was like, oh, I fucked up on the reservation. And I completely screwed everything up. And instead of messaging the people, mind you, this is a dream. This would not have happened in real life. Instead of messaging the people, I let him in. And so I got this guy living with me. And it's really interesting because I got all my stuff in there. And I go to like a coffee shop and I'm talking to this pretty girl, and he just walks up to this chick and just kisses her and then runs. And I'm like, this guy's behavior is really weird. What ends up happening by the end of the dream? This guy's a freaking homeless kid. And my dad had to come in. He came into the dream like on the last day, and it's the middle of the night, and he's like, we got to kick this fucker out. And so we kicked him out. And the biggest part of the dream was he's sitting me down and lecturing me. I'm crying. And I'm like, Daddy, I'm so sorry. My discernment is terrible. I just don't get it. And he's just telling me about how life should be, and like, you don't do that. And I had so much shame and guilt around me giving my power away to such an extent that I couldn't even see something so apparent in front of me, that a homeless man was using me for my energy, whatever it was. Now, why am I telling you this? So I woke up with this dream, and I'm like, immediately, sometimes dreams take a while for you to interpret. Immediately, I got it. I was like, that's what I used to be like. I used to outsource all of my power to all these other people, and I'd put myself in situations that weren't in my best interest. And I was putting other people before myself. And then I'd get screwed over. And I didn't have that fatherly discernment. And when I woke up from this dream, it's like, wow, what a gift. I just processed that whole entire pattern, and it's gone now. Because when I woke up, I was like, that's not me anymore. That's not a thing. That does not happen. We don't let homeless people in our houses. So all this is to say, is fear driving your ship? Because that dream that just got, we could call it released or shown, that was a part of myself that just moved, right? So it's not there anymore, and it's better for me because I just processed another layer of fear that was living inside my body. And when I look back at the whole journey I went on of 5.5, 6 years traveling abroad, doing all this crazy shit, ayahuasca and all these other things, going to all these retreats, spending all this money trying to figure out what is the meaning of life, why am I here? I'm trying to step up into who I'm supposed to be, but I don't know how. All of it was fear. And all of it was fear. And like all the ayahuasca and bufo and combo and psilocybin and all these things, they're, for a lot of people, they're supposed to help you process, so they say, emotions and all these other things. But I just had so much fear in my body. I had so much fear. And there's a lot of stuff related to we could call it past lives or looping or whatever it is, where my body just did not want to be here, and is very hard for me to ground into reality. And since I've done all this work on myself, I know a couple of things. I know, one, what I would advise people to do. There's a lot of things that I did that I would not advise people to do. But two, I would just advise people to solely focus on what is the thing that's scaring you, and then go do it. Because here's the thing about life. We have so many people, myself included, who walk around, because we have these minds that are trying to control everything. They walk around and they are afraid of dying, right? You could ask someone, are you afraid to die? And they'll go, no, I'm not afraid to die. But you look in their eyes and they're afraid to die, right? Because they're not living. And so we have people walking around afraid to die, but then they're also afraid of creating a past that they're ruminating on even more than they're already doing now. So they're afraid to live now, and they're also afraid to die. So the being afraid to die is creating this like fear of destiny. Am I going to fulfill my destiny? Am I going to make it happen? And then the fear of the past, it's like, I also don't want to keep living the life that I'm living now. And so it keeps them completely stuck. The only way that you can get out of it is to be so freaking content now and just stepping into your fear and doing stuff. Like, I can only speak with this much conviction now because I've stepped in my fear so many times that I don't fear things as much. Do I still have fears? Absolutely. Do I still have levels I need to go with dragons I've never faced? Yeah, 100%. But that's the game of life. And so I'm reading this awesome book where this guy's talking about, I drop his name, but it's a long Indian name. I don't remember it. If you want it, just drop it in the comments and I'll figure it out for you. But he's essentially talking about pleasure. So most people are, one, consumed by fear, and two, they're in a pleasure trap, right? So pleasure has 4 components. I don't remember all 4, but it's sensation. It's like being able to see and feel and touch it. And pleasure, essentially, what it does when you're chasing pleasure is you get the pleasure and it feels really good, and then you ruminate on it. So this is you going back to the past. So for a very long time, I had a how do I call this? A rosy palm addiction. Let's just call it that. Where I wasn't even doing it consciously or because I was horny. I was just doing it because it soothed me, right? And so I was seeking pleasure, and I was looking back at my past experiences with partners I had, and I would be going back to those pleasurable experiences, attempting to experience that same pleasure again. And this is a very dangerous trap, because when you focus on pleasure, you're not living. When we say that again, because this is a little bit hard, it's kind of paradoxical. When you focus on pleasure, you're not really living. So how does that even make sense? When your sole desire is to obtain pleasure for the sake of pleasure, you're chasing it. And so if you just want pleasure, like the prime examples are a man who just works really hard so he can acquire the house, the girl, the car, all the money in the world, right? Well, what is he chasing? He's chasing pleasure in the form of those things that he thinks are going to provide him more pleasure. Well, what's easier than doing that? Being so present in your current existence that you're in joy. You're not in pleasure, because pleasure is not a permanent state, nor is joy. But joy is a state that occurs where you're so present, you're not thinking about anything else. Whereas pleasure is a sensation. And that sensation will bring other emotions. But the problem with pleasure, and this is where the sickness of society, one of the sicknesses comes in, is people become so fixated with getting their little fix that when it's gone, they feel horrible. Okay? So it's like, give me my dopamine fix, and then it's not there anymore. So then I'm going to ruminate in my mind about getting that dopamine fix again. This strips us completely from being able to live in the moment. It strips us completely of being able to see the beauty in every corner. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just continuously ruminating about this one girl that I had a wonderful experience with. Well, it's like, dude, look around. There's plenty of other beautiful women where you can have an experience where it's not even the same. You can just look at them and have a joyful experience. You don't even have to do anything. You don't even have to talk to them. It's like, that is the beauty of life, to be able to hear the birds, to be able to hear the sounds, to take whiffs of fresh air, all of these things. We're living in a poetic world, but most of us can't see it because we're so fucking trapped in this illusion of, I just need to get as much heroin doped up in my veins so I can fucking feel. Well, you can feel now. Just be here. It's all here. But it's only here in the now. We cannot get it anywhere else. When we're fixated on the future, that's fear. When we're ruminating about the past, that's desire. And so go into the fear, find the things that scare you and do them, and you'll actually create different desires. And then those desires will appear to be much closer because you're not afraid anymore. And so you actually start going after your desires. And then you don't have a problem. You don't have a yearning to get your fix all the time, because you start seeing the world as this place where God is just going to start handing you joyful experiences because you're so present and you can actually appreciate them. That is the problem. For the longest time in my life, I didn't appreciate all of the gifts I was being given. And I come back to the exact same town that I grew up in, and now I can appreciate all of it. I was in Colombia with this farmer. I called him Uncle Tio, which just means uncle. Uncle in English, uncle in Spanish. And he was my ex-girlfriend's friend's uncle. And he was a farmer. This guy, he shook his hands. This guy had massive hands. We're out one day on the farm. We were planting like avocado trees, pulling up yucca. He was showing me the ways of being a campesino, a farmer. A great experience. I love that guy. Still love him. When you look in his eyes, such presence. He's not trying to get anywhere. What is really interesting, because in my broken Spanish at that time, we were having a conversation and my ex-girlfriend's friend was translating. And essentially, we're looking out at this mountain and he looks at me and he goes, I wish I could still look at that mountain with the same joy and appreciation that you're looking at it with right now. And he smiles at me and he goes, when you see the same thing every single day, you start to appreciate it less and less. And that conversation was so organic and so beautiful, because there's so many times in my life where I think about that man and just what he said and his wisdom. Because now, when he pops into my mind, I appreciate the thing just as much as I appreciated it the first time seeing it. That is really a level of presence that can only be practiced. If you guys want to reach higher states of consciousness in which you're able to transmute your fear and move through it, you're able to take things from your past and move through them, take them, make them your power, and then be able to express that power organically in a way that the world's like, wow, what a beautiful way of expressing yourself. If you want to be able to do that, You got to be able to take everything you see in the world and start making it beautiful. Every experience. And it's not forcing it, right? All it comes back to is, boom, fear pops up. I'm scared. What should I do? Well, if the fear exists, I should go do that thing. Okay, I'm going to go do it. I'm scared. What am I feeling in my body? Oh, I feel this. I feel this. I just did the thing and I didn't expect to get these results. This person reacted this way, because ultimately when you're doing all this stuff, it's usually just interacting with people, right? This person responded this way. I was on a sales call with them. They responded this way and I feel really terrible. What is this? Well, you label the emotions. You find out what the emotions are. Guilt, shame. Okay, why do I feel that shame? Okay, because XYZ happened when I was a little kid or whatever. You just keep being so present with yourself and asking yourself deep questions to understand, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling this way? Do I still want to feel this way? Can I let that go? You start letting these things go. The fear is actually your greatest therapist, because you can't keep going to therapy expecting to get results, because they're not putting you into situations where you can go, oh, I'm actually proud of myself. You are outsourcing your power to someone who's going to keep telling you, oh yeah, well, when you were 3 years old, this is what happened, and how do you feel about that? It's like, okay, well, at what point are we going to move through this? At what point are we going to decide to take that incident that happened when I was 3 years old and turn it into my greatest gift that I could ever give the rest of the world for people who have to experience the same thing? Well, that's not going to happen in therapy usually. You can find great therapists, but you can be your own therapist. And all that takes is identifying that you're scared. And then you just say, hey, I'm scared. Let's fuck around and find out. What happens when I actually do this thing? Is all of the things that I've been told and taught and all the things in my mind actually true? That's what you should be really wrestling with every day. Let me see how much my mind is full of bullshit. Because our minds have created the reality we're in now. So if you're in a place that you don't actually enjoy being in, if you're with people you don't like, if you're in a relationship that sucks, well, you created that. Hurts to hear, but it hurts because it's true. And when you can actually accept the truth and foster a very deep relationship with it, the truth actually becomes the thing that you want to be around all the time, because it gives you the most freedom. Think it was easy for me to go, oh yeah, I just invested 7 years of my life into a program, which was nursing school and actually being a nurse, and I'm gonna actually have to quit because this is not meant for me. Do you think that was easy for me to admit to myself? That was one of the most painful things I ever had to go through. But I lied to myself going into nursing school because I didn't know any better, and it's fine. It's not a problem. I was a different person then than I am now. But the solution for me was to actually be like, oh yeah, this is not for me. This is not for me. It's making me sick. I don't feel good doing it. I can't be around this anymore. It's toxic. Told myself that truth. And what did I have to do? I had to sit in my emotions for 3, 4, 5 months, up to a year, up to 2 years, and go, oh my God, I'm so afraid. What do I do next? I'm so afraid. And I just kept moving forward. The next thing you know, 2 weeks notice is put in. Then next thing you know, one-way ticket to Colombia put in. The next thing you know, I'm here filming these freaking videos after living 6 years abroad, running my bank account down to zero. Look at how many stories I have. Look at how much life experience I have. Look at how much I can talk about. And this isn't about me. This is about the process of just going into the fucking fear. Don't agree with it. Don't, if you give any fear, the thing about fear is it's a succubus. You don't know that you're getting sucked in, right? It doesn't want you to find out. But it's actually there. God gives you fear for a reason. You have to understand how fear works. And most people are so afraid of their fear of even looking at it that they never realize that God is giving you the fear to show you what to do. That's it. And so have I gotten this down? 100%? No. There's tons of things that I'm still caves that I'm still looking into. And it will continue to happen as we evolve, because fear is actually the great, I was going to say the directioner. I don't even know what that means. It's the great map. God gave you a map. The thing is, he can't give you a map because you operate from free will, right? So what did he give you instead? He gave you this emotion that will allow you to follow it or run from it. That's it. And most people have no idea that this emotion exists. And what happens when this emotion exists in their body? What do they start doing? They start running away from things that were actually good for them. I've done this many times. They push things away, or they don't even know that a good thing was there. And they just keep doing what they're meant to be doing. So they think. You cannot connect to God if you keep doing the same thing, because God created this beautiful thing called creativity and curiosity. And when you step into these things, fear comes up, because if you've never, for example, if you're a painter, let's say you're a really good painter, right? I actually met this lady in the coffee shop the other day. I look over at to my left, and she's doodling on her iPad, but she's got this big board, and this big board is holding her iPad, and it's got like, I just asked her, I was like, what software is this? I have no idea. I don't even remember. And she starts showing me all of her paintings that she's done just with her little marker on her iPad. I'm like, that's really good stuff. And I'm like, what do you do for a living? And she does some office job. She just does that for fun. I go, why don't you think about making a business out of this? She's like, oh, I don't know. And I could see in her eyes, I could see in her face, I could see in her body, she was so fucking scared to actually just put herself out there and to be able to say, oh yeah, my work is actually good and people want to buy it. It's scary. Believe me, I understand this fully. If any of you are new to this channel, it's not like I just woke up like this. It took a lot of training, And I'm not saying it's going to take you a lot of training. Part of this channel is I'm trying to provide the tools that I wish I had. But I told this girl, I love doing this with people. I love giving them an opportunity to go into the fear by making it as easy as possible. I just said, hey, I need a logo done for one of my businesses. This is the concept. Can you do it? It's very simple. I made a dope logo on with AI, and I didn't even need another logo, but I was willing to pay this girl just to help her start her business. She looks at it and she's like, "Oh well, I don't know." And I'm like, you don't. I'm looking at her paintings. I'm looking at all the stuff she's done. I'm like, you don't know if you could do a logo like this? She's like, oh, well, yeah, I guess I could. Like, do you have an email? And she has no idea how to run a business or anything. And I just saw it, and I'm like, man, this is so much fear. And I even told her, I was like, look, you have nothing to be afraid of. You're a great artist. But it's crazy. It's crazy how much fear is there. Just here's what I want to say. It's crazy how much fear is there, and all we have to do is just be aware of it. That's it. This whole video is just awareness. If you bring awareness to the emotions that you don't like and don't want to feel, you can actually decide to move through them. But this is the hardest part for people. It's very simple, but simplicity is the hardest. When you make the conscious choice to bring awareness to anything, I am an alcoholic. You brought awareness to it, right? What does that do? So that brings two paths up. The two paths are, one, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. And by doing that, I'm going to continue to perpetuate the thing that I don't actually like doing, but I have to admit to myself that I don't like doing it, which is going to make me feel guilt and shame. And I'm going to feel like a piece of shit because I continue to do something I know is not good for me. Then the other option, I'm going to go down the path I don't know, and it's scary as fuck. So what do most people do? They stay doing the same thing and they rationalize, oh yeah, well, I'm just doing it this way because X, Y, Z. It's like, no, you're doing it because you had another path that was better for you and you were afraid to step into it because it was extremely scary, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being scared. But you didn't have anyone to tell you that it's okay to be scared, but you do it anyway. This is what I wish I learned when I was younger. My relationship with my dad was not that strong. And so I didn't have a strong role model, a father figure. I did have father figures around, but I did not have them to help me in certain areas of life, like talking to girls. So what happened? Completely scared of girls. And it didn't matter that I was scared of girls. Most guys, unless they're taught by man how to approach them, they're scared, right? It's fine. But all I needed was someone to tell me, "Hey dude, it's okay if you're afraid. Just go do it. It's okay if you're afraid to take the shot and score the game-winning goal. Just do it." Like, that's it. That's all I needed. And it's that simple with your life. All you have to do is identify, I'm scared, and then you just parent yourself. You actually don't need the person telling you, oh yeah, do this. So that dream that I had with my dad, it was a great reflection of like, oh, I actually don't even need my dad to tell me that I did something wrong because I understand it completely now. I have my own parent inside me. We all do. We have our own parents. We have our grandparents. You can talk to them at any point. You got Sky Daddy up there. Sky Daddy is God. You can talk to him whenever you want. And so it's really just cultivating a relationship with the things we already have inside of us so that we can be the parents that we didn't have when we were young. My dad is a great guy. I used to think he was an asshole. Why? Well, because he didn't give me what I wanted when I was a kid. Well, why didn't he? Well, he had his own fear and shit he was dealing with that he didn't have parents to help him with. So who's going to break the cycle? It's got to be me. It's got to be you. If you didn't get what you wanted and your expectations weren't met, nobody's going to meet them for you but yourself. And you meet them by becoming a very loving, compassionate person towards yourself by deciding to coach, mentor, facilitate change, and hold space for yourself. Well, how do I do that? It's so simple. Follow the fear. Follow the fear. I'm afraid. Why am I afraid? Okay, what do I have to do? I don't want to do it. I'm so scared. I don't want to do it. Just go do it. Just go see what happens. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Just go see what happens. You're going to be okay, buddy. You're going to be all right. Just go see what happens. And here's the thing. If you go talk to that pretty girl, if you go jump off that cliff with a parachute or a bungee cord that a million other people have already jumped off of, I know you're afraid. Just go see what happens. Are you going to die? With the bungee cord, maybe. But are you really going to die if you go talk to that girl? No. Okay. So what's the worst that can happen? You're going to feel feelings you don't want to feel. That's it. That's the worst thing that can happen. You're going to feel feelings you don't want to feel. You're going to feel feelings of embarrassment. You're going to feel feelings of pain. You're going to feel feelings of regret. You're going to feel feelings of shame, grief, sorrow. You're going to feel feelings of things that I can't even express right now because I don't have the words, because there's so many emotions in our bodies. But when you go out and get life experience and you feel those things, then you can start putting names to them. And then you can start saying, oh, I'm feeling a little guilty right now. Big deal. Now that I know and have brought awareness to the guilt, I can let it go. How do I let that go? Well, I feel guilty because I did this to this person. Okay, well, what should I do? Oh, I should call Johnny, but I don't really want to. Pick up the phone and call him. Boom, done. Step into the fear. Dragon slayed. Move forward. You do this throughout your day, every single day, For the next week, you'll be a completely different person. The next month, you'll be a completely different person. The next year, you won't even be able to recognize yourself anymore. It's that simple. So follow the fear, and I'll see you in the next one.